Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge After Show. Tonight, Pamela and I are talking about the Challenge USA Episode 7, State of the Unions.
Boom.
I'm not sure why it's called State of the Unions. I don't really, because there's different, mediocre at best. There's some groups working together, so it's a couple, there's some different unifying, whatever. I didn't,
Nope.
awful
Nope.
titles.
Stupid title.
Awful
Yes.
titles.
Stupid title.
Pamela, I will say this. This is my favorite episode of the season for this reason only: the elimination and who was in the elimination and who won the elimination. Boom. That's why it was my favorite of the season.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I am going to say my overall thoughts were I really liked both competitions. It's funny. We're having very opposite feelings about this.
Well, no, I
Usually
love
I
both.
don't,
I love
not
both
opposite,
competitions.
but usually I don't care.
Okay.
So in this, my enjoyment came from watching the competitions and how they sort of work together. And it does make for a good show, but that they make big moves, but unfortunately, like my favorite people are going home week by week, so it's like I don't know
Oh,
who I'm really rooting for at this point other than strong runners because they deserve it because they're good at it, but like in terms of people I just really like, a lot of them have gone home, so
a lot of heavy hitters have gone home this season for sure.
yeah.
I will say this: these storylines that they create ultimately give away way too much about who is going into the elimination, who's going to win the daily challenge. They give way too much away. The episode
Absolutely.
starts off with the three-headed monster, Tyson, not Alyssa, Angela, and Kylan chatting. And then they go to a quick shot of Dominic, who's like, I got to make a big move this week. If only I had some power. So I wrote down, and I wrote this down at the beginning. Here are all my notes. Here's all my notes. The beginning of my notes, I wish I could show it to you. I wrote down AL and KK in the elimination. At the beginning of my notes, before I got even to the bottom, I put before
Yes.
they even get to the challenge. And that stood for Alyssa and Leo, Kyland and Kiera going into limit. I called it before it even got close. And I also called that Dominic was going to win the daily challenge so he could make this happen. And this is before anything even went down, before they got to the
Yeah.
challenge of the day. So I wish I mean, this is, you know why? It's because there's no fun filler anymore. All it is strategic gameplay. There's no hookups. There's no drama. There's no fighting. There's no bar. There's nothing in this show to keep you almost distracted from what might happen. It's way too cut and paste for me. That's my biggest beef with this whole season, actually, if I'm being honest.
That is a really good observation. And I totally agree. I didn't think about it, but as Danny Drama, you must know, and as me, who's there for the drama, this is fine. But like
Right.
this show is, I'm enjoying it. Like I'm not going to say I'm not enjoying it.
Right. I'm
I'm not
enjoying it.
knocking
Right.
it. I'm enjoying it more than I have the previous seasons. It's still a shakeup when things happen, like the moves, but it an all competition version of the challenge is what this is, and it's like, like
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Like I'm one half here for it.
Yeah.
I will watch it and I'm enjoying it. But again, yeah, I really miss the messiness. I miss the drama. I'm Whereas the gameplay of people that knew each other for 1,000 years, it is much more entertaining to watch these new actual competitors. But what's missing from the gameplay of people that knew each other 1,000 years is all the backstory, history, fighting, pettiness, and romance, whether it's
Yeah.
happening now or in the past. It is, as you said, copy and paste. It's like, start with, I thought he was going to go home, that's where my only fool was. Obviously, he was going to be in elimination. I didn't know if it was going to wind up with, well, you know what? You have to go home now, and that's fine because your business, the credit card machines aren't working.
Yeah, we'll get to
Or,
that in a second because I have so many questions for you, Pamela, about this.
uh,
Here's the issue with the show: the biggest romance of this season is who? Answer, and this is a trick question. Answer: Danny and Kiki. Biggest romance of the season. Think
oh,
about
good.
it.
You didn't give me a chance to answer, but that is definitely the true answer. The true romance is Danny and Kiki.
And she's not even. We don't even know what she looks like unless we go and
Kiki
look it
doesn't
up, I
want me to
guess.
mess this one up. And Danny's great. I'm glad he's still
Sure.
there because every episode with him is just a new delight. He's
And I'll
just
say it is,
smiling.
but it's his. Here's the issue with that though as well. His one contribution to every episode is one confessional where he talks about Kiki. The dude hasn't won anything this season. He hasn't gone into an elimination to prove himself. He's literally floating through the season, and maybe that's because he's massive and played football, and no one wants to do anything physical against this man. Sure. Now, in the previews for the rest of the season, they do show a hall brawl, and they show two giant dudes crash into each other. Maybe that's where he found, because the dude has no money. Like, as far as in the show, I don't know about in real life.
Right.
In the show, he needs to qualify for this final somehow.
Right.
He got nothing. So
who was his partner in this one? They were saying, we're going to get him some money, right? That was Danny and his partner. They were talking
Danny's
about getting him money.
Is Justine this
Justine.
week.
Okay. Yeah. And they were saying we're going to get him some money. They didn't get him any money, but they were
I think they got second place in the challenge, which was called recreational driving. I think they got second place. So that was pretty close.
So he's not ever performed poorly though. I mean, on the upside, he's never been
like I said, I think he's just floating. He's floating through. He's not doing anything bad, but he's not like saying, I'm going to dominate this one this week, like Tyson is shown to do, and Kylan is shown to do, and Angela is shown to do. No, he's just kind of skating around.
Yep.
All right. Well,
should we start with Leo wanting to go home?
Yeah. So let's talk about his business. He says that in a week, he lost $43,000. And then they also mentioned that it's something to do with credit card machines. They aren't working. So I should have looked it up and I didn't. And that's on me. What the hell do you think this dude does for a job that he can lose $43,000 in a week?
This is really fun because I have a total, like in my mind, I have no idea, first of all.
Okay.
To say that first and foremost, didn't look it up, don't know a damn thing. The scenario that makes sense in my mind,
and I think I'm with you,
is happening.
Okay.
Is that he might be like a franchise owner of like 2 or 3, let's say. I feel like it's more convenience stores, but for the sake of clarity, I'm going to say pizza shop, like Domino's or like Fireway Subs. When you ever look at franchise ownership, like you can buy either like a massage parlor that already exists, like
all right,
Massage Envy. You can be a franchise owner of something that's sort of turnkey that you buy and then you own it. So losing $43,000 doesn't mean they really lost it. It means they couldn't process it through the credit card. So it's sort of sitting there.
Okay.
Because so if their credit card machines aren't working, it means that they like had to physically do them, and they have them, but they haven't gone through. So I don't think
so. They have credit card machines at their business that it's okay. It's just Carter. Hi, Carter. Carter says yes, Pamela. Good point.
He didn't really lose 43,000.
Carter is a dog, and Leo loves cats, so Carter's concerned for Leo. Okay, that's what's happening.
He doesn't want to hear about Leo. Yeah.
So you're assuming that the credit card machines are in his place of business. They're not working properly, and the people cannot get their transactions to go through to pay that business to purchase the food or whatever he owns or whatever he's selling.
What I'm saying is that the people did. Like, so say, Dan, you own Massage Envy, and I come in and I get a massage, and you're the girlfriend, the wife, whoever he was on the phone with, Aaliyah?
The girlfriend.
Girlfriend. The girlfriend works at the front desk and she's like, okay, great. I ran your credit card. So you have like the running of it and you have the numbers, and I have it as like transacted, but they're not the merchant. There's an issue with the merchant putting it through. So I don't think I'm like, woo, free massage. I think it's just they need help in like getting it. There's a banking issue that nobody knows how to handle.
Right. So Leo can make these calls to his girlfriend. Why can't he make a call when he's in the house to the credit card people and say, my business is suffering because they're not going through. Can you fix this for me immediately? I'm a good person to you. Like what I'm trying to think of the word client.
Right, like we need to put this through, because for me, okay, so I had a business many years ago and I took credit cards, and so I would swipe them through. Then you have to make sure they go through, which was a step on the machine that I often forgot. So the person's been charged and the money's sitting there. It's like if someone Venmos you, but you don't transfer it to your account.
Yeah.
So in my mind, because that would be a real panic. It just seemed more like she was like, you better come home. We're losing money. Like if you really lost, like got rid of $43,000.
Yeah. So that was my next
conspiracy
then.
So that's what I'm saying. And I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think
I'm just saying, did the producers come to him and say, hey, look, we know you're not really going to go home, but can you make it look like you are by packing up an empty suitcase and just making it a little more drama filled? Because they didn't really show how much work Alyssa had to do to convince him to stay in the house. And he seemed like he very quickly was like, no problem. I'll just stay another day. So I'm like, did he really pack up and was he really going to leave is my question.
It seemed like the bluff was more towards his girlfriend than the house. He was like, then I'm packing and coming home right now.
Yeah,
and
but he didn't like video himself like, look, babe, I'm packing up right now. See, like,
no, but she was supposed to go, oh my God, no, don't do that. You could win $1 million. That would have really helped.
But she didn't, right?
I believe in you, babe, but she didn't. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll go pack up, like waiting for someone to stop him. And then that someone was Alyssa instead of, I don't think he ever, it was like, great, then I'm going to go home right now. It was never like, oh my God, this can't be happening. I'm sorry I left you in the lurch. I'm going to go talk to producers. Like, I'm going to come home. Yeah. It was very like, great, I'm packing.
Yeah. All right.
And he did. And then it took Alyssa but what about me for him not to? She's like, right, but that's not cool to me.
Well, all right. So let's move on then to the recreational driving. The blindfolded thing was a nice touch. I like you had said earlier, I also love this challenge. Thought it was really fun. Thought there were some cool crashes. Some people flying up on the barrels was cool. Overall, I love the whole thing. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It reminded me of like the Mario Kart battle back on, probably they still do today, but back on the N64 where you had to get the balloons away from the other people when you're battling and stuff and making them lose their balloons. So that's what it reminded me of. This is where Kiki's mentioned again. Sarah reminds us that she's a freaking cop again in this, where she's like,
"Oh, you can't see mine. Sarah was in the police." Like,
oh no, I just saw it. I actually did see it there.
Why are people so proud, Carter? I know you don't like the 5-0.
Oh, jeez, Carter.
Carter, do I have to put you out of this bedroom?
I think that was a yes.
I think that was a yes.
Let him stay. It's fine.
All right, fine. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the barking dog. Also, join our Patreon for more fun pet sounds.
The Challenge app show on Patreon. There'll be a link in the description below. Patreon's blowing up right now because of our Big Brother talk. Everyone's loving it. We've gotten a whopping 3 comments now, which is great. And they all came right away. So people are watching our Big Brother stuff right away.
So we do cover Big Brother on our Patreon, which we're more into than this. So if you want more enthusiastic us, less dog barking, and maybe a few hermit crab updates along the way, join our Patreon. Police. Oh, what is with people that it's as though they're revealing that they're a superhero. Like when people say like, oh, yeah,
I mean, I think it depends on the person, because I don't mind. There's like my buddy or my brother's friend who I just got to chat up with again at his bachelor party last weekend. He's a police officer. And the way that he talks about it is not the way that it doesn't come off the way that Sarah talks about it. And he tells me some really interesting stories about what he has to do out there and how dangerous it really is. And so I appreciate how he's coming from it. But with her, just like, I do driving courses all the time. It's no problem for me. I'm going to kick ass at this challenge. It just doesn't come off the way I want to hear it. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, I guess I'm doing my hearkening back to Nicole and from Big Brother and her reveal. And Sarah saying she's a police officer.
Again,
yes. Like, I'm a police. Yeah. So they say it in a way where it's
cocky. It's the cockiness where they think they can do anything because of their job. It's like, oh, I do photography, so I'm going to be really good at long distance running. Like,
right.
What is this?
Or my analogy is it's like, oh no, we need to like open up the can of pickles and like reach the height. And it's like, I'm Superman. So I can help with pretty much anything. It's like, okay, so you freaking make people cross the street. Like, not to insult police officers either, but their reveal is always like, we should now understand that they are capable of everything.
I think
and are smarter than everybody.
But I think that the two people that Nicole and Sarah, we're just getting we're just not vibing with how they talk about their job. Because I've met plenty of people that are police officers where I'm like, wow, thank you for what you do. It's really interesting what you do. I could never do that type situation too. So sure. I'm kind of like, there's definitely hit and miss for me when people talk about being a police officer.
Oh, I'm not saying all police officers do.
I know you're not.
In the context of the show, these people definitely think revealing this, the reaction should be like, oh, Well, then I'm in great hands.
I'm not even going to try, and I'm not going to perform in the. I'm not going to get behind the wheel against you today in this challenge, Sarah.
Clearly, you are a superior intellect and physically capable. So, yay, awesome. Why didn't you say that? Why did you bury the lead? You were a police officer? Blindfold me and tie me up. Yeah, exactly.
So there is a wrinkle in the show this week, which I think is a little more interesting and maybe will play into hand a little bit more going further into the show, is that a lot of people do not have enough money to compete in TJ's final. Yes. And that is causing them, and this is Sarah, this is why I'm bringing it up because of Sarah. She's like, wait, I don't even have enough money. I might need to force my hand and go against my partner Tyson and try to get into this elimination this week so I have 5K, which is kind of sad because at the beginning of the season I said, oh, I don't think 5K is enough. I think they need more to have to actually compete. And I'm like, oh, wait, a lot of people don't even have 5K. It's like, how sad is this that you can't win one challenge or one elimination? I guess it's even having the opportunity to go in. But at this point, there's only 16 people left in this game at the start of this episode, you know? Now we're down to 14 people. And how many are going to qualify? How many are going to be allowed to be in the final? Maybe 10? Are we that close to the end of the season already where we have 2 more episodes and then just the final?
Is that true? Only 2 more episodes?
No, I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm asking you as a fellow host, what do you think? Because I think that maybe TJ has 10 or maybe 8. So right now we're on episode 7, which would mean episode 8 gets you down to 12, and episode 9 gets you down to 10, and then episode 10 would be the final.
I think that summer programming, as we know, and I know for a fact Big Brother goes on like endlessly. I think there's 24 episodes or something.
There's got to be more than that, probably. I mean, it's insane how much. Yeah,
I think that there's that many because there's so many a week. Okay, but nonetheless, I think that they will extend the challenge just because it's the summer and there's nothing else. Oh, it's almost.
Yeah. So Pamela, I honestly think it's going to be 10 episodes.
We're at a halfway point. I think they're going to have to at least 12 episodes.
They did make it look like a mid-season. The thing they showed at the end of the episode felt very mid-season-y, the trailer for that. But I will still go with my gut here. Well, actually, you know what? You know how they're doing. You're right, Pamela. The twist is they're all going to be individual now. That's the twist. We just
something's going to twist, right?
And then that's going to extend the season.
I think we're going to go into a 14
because if they kept it teams, then you could see 2 getting eliminated every week, 10 episodes with the 11th episode being a reunion, or a 2-episode thing with the 12th episode being the reunion, 2-episode finale, that is, or final challenge thing.
But there's not a lot to talk about in a reunion with this either, because it's like, that was a strategic.
Oh, so let's talk about all the drama that happened this season. Right. Crickets, moving on to our next topic. There's not going to be any of that. It's going to be all gameplay. And I'm sorry, but for the casual viewer, we want a little, I mean, at least as a true original challenge fan, we want a little drama. So whatever.
Well, that's why we will have season 38 on MTV.
And that's what I brought up with Jenna. I'm like, I really think 38 is going to have a great amount of strategic gameplay, but also drama. How do you not have drama when you have Bananas back in a house with Tori and Jordan? I mean, they're all there. And the rumor is that Tori and Jordan go from enemies to something maybe more. Ooh.
Wouldn't that make you happy? That was a true love story.
I guess, but I mean, the fact didn't Tori, we never found out for sure, but didn't Tori cheat on him? So he's gonna have to...
we found out for sure that was kind of malarkey, that they had broken up before. Must we rehash this? We must.
Okay, they broke up, but then very soon after she hooked up with Fessy or something?
They broke up prior to her going on that season. They had a few spots, for social media reasons, they didn't go public yet, but they as a couple were very much no longer.
Okay.
So it looked like, because they publicly broke up after that, and not to mention he broke up with her. It's not like she was like, oh, I think this is over.
Okay, and then she hooked up with Fessy that season. They went on a little vacation together, but Jordan and her were already broken up.
They were already broken up again, him by her, and he's dated other people since then as well.
Well, no, I understand that. I just thought there was something still going on with them.
And she had to move back to New Jersey with her parents.
Well, let's do this then. Please tell us in the comments below what you remember from the Tori and Jordan breakup and her season on there with Fessy. Were they completely broken up, or was there still something there? Tell us in the comments. Our comments can blow up this week from those two things. Tell us what the hell you think this twist is going to be next week from TJ. No more partners per se. I think that's what we all think it is. And someone in the comments last week, this is a great little tidbit, said, I bet Tyson is with Sarah this week. They called it and they got it right. Boom. Because they were partners this week. But it also is like
Patreon.
Process of elimination though, because like they hadn't been partners yet and they have to be partners eventually. So there you go.
That was a good and interesting twist, though. That was as interesting as these twists can get.
They tried to make it interesting with Sarah trying to put herself into elimination by talking to Dom. That was pretty interesting. Again, the episode had some little twists and turns that were somewhat interesting. But I called it overall. I was like, Alyssa and Leo lost it, and they really did. Not Kyle. Thinking Big Brother now. Kyland and Kira, boom, let's go against them.
Okay.
Because Dom got thrown in by Kyland a couple weeks ago.
I don't care about Kyland. Actually, he did a nice guy. I did write this down. Kyland, and I'd like to, for you, Dan, who didn't see
Big Brother,
find the clip of his sort of exit. It was ugly. Like, it really turned me from his super fan to like a bad taste in my mouth.
Did he get eliminated right at the end or something? Is that why he was so pissed?
So it was final 3.
And Kyland wanted to be taken to the final 2. Jenna told me this. Yes. Or you both told me this on the last episode of Big Brother.
It was Kylan and Xavier, who were super good competitors. And then this guy who was a foreman, who was like a family member of George Foreman or something.
And then he got carried to the end.
Right. He like couldn't compete. He was like, I don't mean to be.
Yeah, I've noticed
the fact is he was very overweight. You know, he couldn't physically compete. I mean, that's just the facts. It's not me.
No, I understand.
So he was the nice guy that they both were like, oh, like he got carried along almost as if Monty and Joseph and Terrence made it to final 3.
Right.
And if Joseph got real pissed and said, you said you'd pick me. And it's like, dude, I'm going to win over Terrence from the jury.
Right.
So he picked him and
that could easily, I mean, you could see that happening every season of Big Brother. Why would you want 2 strong players? Why would you, if you're a strong player, want another strong player in the final, well,
that's what Brittany was saying with her final 3. She had said to this is turning into Big Brother because we like it more, but Brittany had said, hey, I'm down with this final 3. Brittany's kind of dead weight, let's be honest.
Yeah, Brittany, Michael
and Taylor both have a possibility to win. And she's like, I do think if it was a final 3, either one of them would take me to final 2.
Honestly, if you're watching this and you are a big fan of Big Brother 24, we are doing epic 1-hour reviews of this thing, and we get way too into it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, we'll talk more about that.
We can't even stop talking about it on our challenge recap. But
Jen and I would fall into that too and be like, all right, moving on. All right, so let's move on. So Alyssa and Leo.
I missed my whole point. I would love to find the clip because I'm sure it exists of how dirty he went. And again, I mean, I am judging, but if I'm taking myself away from judging, I could see going low when you freak out in that moment when someone you feel literally takes away $750,000 from you. I might get real unnice too. Like, you know, when at that moment, people in the heat of the moment, people are not their prettiest. Sometimes people get ugly. I myself have been known to all you nurses out there. Thank you for doing the God's work. I was talking to my mom. This is very quick. I had spinal surgery a couple of years ago. And I remember being in pain and unhappy and very rude and mean because when you're not happy, when you're physically in pain, you're snippy. You're not your best self. So nurses, God bless you. You do the Lord's work. You too, Amanda. But because you take a lot of abuse. I mean, you're
nothing like an Amanda Lives reference there.
Amanda.
Oh yeah, Amanda. Yeah, I'm sorry, Amanda Lives. Yeah,
Amanda Lives.
All right. Yes. Shout out to all the nurses.
So back to that. You're in Kylan.
Alyssa, Leo. They crash their car. Won't start. They're in, and then Dom and Kayla win. And Dom wants to go after Kylan. Kayla wants to go after Kylan. They're both into Kylan thing, but they try to direct us with the Angela thing, with the Tyson thing, which, as we saw at the beginning, was a 3-headed monster. So no one else. You can't even assume that anyone else is even involved in this episode. Like Ben and Desi don't even get talked about. David and Cachet don't even get talked about.
Right, I forgot.
Danny and Justine don't. I mean, none of these people are even shown in this friggin' episode. What a waste, but whatever. It is what it is. They're trying to create a storyline, and with no drama in the house. Like, let's say that Cachet and Justine caused some drama this week. They would get shown more. Like, they could have, everyone could be involved. It just, whatever. So we go into the, do you have anything else? Is there anything else? I'm just trying to think. Well, I have nothing else until we get to the arena at this point.
My only quick thing was that I begrudgingly like Angela. At least Angela's like the perfect girl that you like want to not like. But I think she's obviously good at competitions. And at least instead of going, so what are you going to do? She came with a plan. If I win, I won't put you in. Like she at least presented the way I think you're supposed to present to the
Sure.
decision makers
The
an
jury. Yeah.
argument. Bring me something. Tell me why not to put you in. Don't just come and go, I wouldn't do it to you, because of course you would. Tell me, look, I'll guarantee you if I win next week, I won't put you in. Something like that. That's a good, she plays the game properly. She's not dumb. She's physically
Very
capable.
good competitor, Angela. She just,
Good competitor.
it's not that I like or hate her. She's just, I'm not like a fan of hers. I don't know why I'm such, okay, so here's why I love this elimination so much. It's called Ball and Chain. They're in the arena. Alyssa and Leo at this point in the game are my two favorite players. And I'm like, holy crap. If my two favorite players go home this week, who am I rooting for? That's just my personal opinion. I know you might not like them, and that's fine.
Kira's my favorite.
Okay, well, Leo's a huge underdog. No one likes this guy. Yeah, he's a goofball.
I can't stand Leo.
Okay, I'm a goofball though too, so I see where he's coming from. And he's also shown up in big moments. This is not his first elimination. He had the entire plan for Sarah in that other elimination where they had to go into the damn dark and figure out a freaking film reel bullshit thing. He had that.
He's fine.
I thought he performed very well in this elimination as well. And obviously I love Alyssa because she went after the cookout, which I don't know anything about. I just thought it was fun. I love when people go after big players, and goodbye to X for that reason. So there's that.
Not a fan of Alyssa. Can't stand Leo. Was 100%, again, my only writing, 100% team Kira and Kylan, and I don't even really like Kylan that much. I can't stand Alyssa. It was a good move and it wound up working, but I think it was such a stupid move.
Why though? And I said this to Jenna for the last 2 weeks. No one ever went after her again from Big Brother. Everyone was freaking out. And I've said this 3 weeks in a row now. They're all Alyssa's screwed now. The Big Brother, the whole group of them is going to team up against her. No one even gave a crap the next week. It was over to Tyson being mad with Sarah and screwing her over. Everyone forgot about it, Pamela, and Alyssa's home free, and she made a huge move.
Probably secretly happy because she took out a huge competitor who wouldn't be.
So it didn't backfire on her like everyone said it would.
I'm not worried about it backfiring on her. I just thought, it luckily worked out, but I thought it was a really stupid move, very petty. I agreed with Xavier saying, like, this is really lame, and you're going for punishment instead of. I just don't like, again, don't like is a strong. I'm not a fan of Alyssa's. I think she's like, whatever, she's fine. And Leo, good goddamn, I would like him if he would shut up about the cat. Like, it is so.
Oh, okay, irritating. Let me throw this. But then you love Danny every week talking about friggin' Kiki.
But that's adorable. He doesn't pretend he's a mountain lion every week, like meow meow. I think
it's the preference of comedy. I think the Danny and the Leo stuff works for my sense of humor. I think they're both funny.
Leo's not trying to be funny, though. It's not a sense of humor. I think he wants to be known as. He's one of those people that would get his face altered to be a cat. I think he feels as though he's part cat.
So Danny's talking about Kiki because that's like, okay, I was talking to Jen about this. Everyone's trying to have like something to be remembered by on this show, so they get cast in other shows. Danny is pushing that Kiki card so much. Yes, I know he loves her, but does he have to reference her every week? No, yes. But he's trying to find his little thing. Like, everyone wants their thing. Josh's thing. He cries every week. Speaking of Josh, side note, you're going to love this. On our Patreon, someone just commented, Miguel Mendina, who's a great fan of ours on Patreon, and I think he also watches our YouTube. Thank you, Miguel.
Shout out to Miguel, then.
And you're going to love this. He writes, Pam is right about Josh's big brother win. There you go. And he wrote more stuff, but I won't get into
Miguel. Because for years, obviously, I've been like, how did this buffoon win? And people have said, oh, Paul, whoever, which now I guess.
And he mentions Paul next. Yes, he mentions Paul next, but I won't read the whole thing. But yeah, those are some of the things you can look forward to on our Patreon. And see how I made it go full circles. I brought up Josh as his crying is his thing. But anyways, so that's just Leo and Danny's thing.
Competition. All right. Again, it irritates me. It irritates every girl in the house that doesn't want to be with him. I don't think I'm alone in this.
But he proved it twice now. He won twice.
But listen, and again, now I think he's I think the girls are going to grit their teeth at how annoying he is and deal with being partners with him. But it's like, if every show I said, like,
no,
and you can't clip that in a bag. And you had to go like, huh, every time I did it. It's one of those things that makes everyone uncomfortable because it's not funny, but you have to go like, huh, you're a cat. Like, that's what I think it probably feels like in real
All
life.
right, so here's another
Whereas
fun.
Kiki is adorable and like the cat thing is cringe.
Again, I think it's preference, but listen to this. How do you like the conspiracy I have here? Did they purposely put up that how many lives does a cat have up there
9
for
lives.
him?
He's like, that's for me. I'd be like,
Yeah.
shut up.
But it's like, it's so true. But first of all, should Alyssa be upset by that or pumped? Because not that, I mean, I think we all know that cats have 9 lives, but
it
that's a
wasn't their
guarantee.
question. It wasn't their question. I think it was Kylan and Kira's.
No, I swear.
Okay.
Tell us in the comment section. Maybe I'm wrong, but I swear it was Leo's because he can't hear what's going on in this side. It's way too.
You might be right.
But anyways,
it's just like let it go.
But isn't that a nice? It's a guarantee. I mean, who doesn't know that cats have 9 lives? But if Alyssa didn't know, also I was very surprised that no one from the audience was yelling out answers to them. I didn't hear that once, but maybe they did.
They weren't allowed.
But they could read them too.
So this is my question because this is what I think lost it for spoiler alert, Kira and Kylan. And I'm just mad because I love Kira so much, and
I love Kira too, mind you, but I don't care about Kylan. So
dragged into this, I don't care about Kylan either. But
and honestly,
I think Kira, it was Madonna. How many times has Madonna been married? Because I feel like it's only been twice or something.
We can look it up in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So I had no idea either. I was trying to so what was really great about this elimination is they let you as an audience member play along with the questions. Yes. I got to see the questions. I got time to figure out what numbers went with the questions. It was process of elimination, obviously.
It was fun, but it was harder than I thought. A lot of them I didn't know.
And that's why I loved it, though. It was actually challenging. It's not even just about who was in it, which is obviously a bonus because that's what made it even better for me. The questions were fun. The competition you needed strength, you needed endurance, you needed smarts, you needed strategic where you had to do process of elimination. This elimination
was a great elimination.
Even TJ, and I was saying it the whole time. I was like, this is one of the best eliminations I've seen in a long time. And then TJ says it's one of the best eliminations he's ever seen at the end. I'm like, holy crap. And then right when I see them go for the check, the yellow team, or AKA Leo and Alyssa go for the check, my hands go in the air. And before they even get announced, I'm like, yes. And I'm doing this at home. Yes. And I'm like, I'm so into it. And I wasn't doing it for the cameras. I wasn't doing it for our after show. I was doing it because I personally was alone on a couch and so into this. And I know you were probably the opposite.
I wrote 100% kind of like, these are my notes. Alyssa and Leo versus for the final. 100% team Kylan and Kira. This tension is killing me. Like I had to write it.
I know. Because they had to check twice. They had it checked twice, Kylan and Kira, and they were wrong twice.
So upset at the end. Oh, you can't see because it's so upset that my sad face. See, you can see, Dan, it's not 100%. Like you can see it's not blank.
So upset.
I was so upset.
How did you, Pamela, how did you know how many times Madonna had been married?
Was it 2?
Yeah.
It was like Guy Ritchie and some other guy, like a dancer. So it
didn't say Sean Penn, but that's not who she married, I don't think.
Oh, I think they were just together.
Yeah. No, it says Sean Penn, 1985 to 1989.
And then Guy Ritchie?
2000 to 2008.
Yeah, that's what I was like. She's not been married that much. That's what I was like. She hasn't had
she's just dated a ton of dudes. I mean, it is what it is.
Right, and
they've been very
public.
Sorry, a lot of people date a lot of people. They've just been very public about it. Mm-hmm. Like they've just everyone's known. Oh, she's dating A-Rod now. She's dating blah 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 blah.
But that's what I was screaming in my mind when they were like, a lot. It could be 8. I was like, no, she hasn't been married that many times.
That was a great trick question then by producers because she just dated a lot and she actually only has been married twice.
Yeah. So that lost it for them because I think that was their only wrong one. I could be wrong. How many stomachs does a cow have?
I thought it was 4. I thought it was 4. I thought before I was too busy trying to look at Leo and Alyssa's side because I was more excited about them. I was like, I don't care. Good. You can't figure out how many stomachs a cow has. Good. But I think it is 4.
I think it's 4, and their 2 was somewhere wrong. That should have been. Oh, they had left like a 2 and an 8 for Madonna, and they were like 8, I guess. And I was like, no!
The one I didn't. How many albums does Adele have? I couldn't figure that.
Adele only has like 2 or 3. What was
that's where they messed up then because they thought it was more.
That's another one where they overshot it. She's like,
Alyssa was like, Justin Bieber has 6 albums, so Adele's got to have more. I'm like, Justin Bieber's been a bigger star for longer than Adele.
Time. Yeah. Well, Adele, surprisingly, it's funny because here's the fun tidbit you get, Patreon. I was at a girl who goes to like performing high in
Yeah.
LA, which is real serious, and like her parents are both actors.
Wait a
So, yeah,
minute. Wait a minute. Sorry.
Adele.
Adele has
3 maybe.
four. Four.
Okay, I believe it, but um
She has one video album. Does that it says studio albums is four, a video album is one.
I
It's
don't
no,
know.
it's got to be four then. The answer is four.
So the answer must be 4, but Adele, it's funny because the kids, these high school kids who are all performers, were all singing like not only I found someone like you, na, na,
Yeah.
na, na, like it was at a singing thing with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's from like when I was like, that's an old song. That's not new. I'm like, these kids still love Adele like that. And then I looked up and realized Adele hasn't like released a new album in a long time. Like she took that album was big for a while.
I honestly, and here I'll get here. Here's a lot of controversy that can go on in the comment section. I'm not really a fan of Adele. Don't
Have you
like her
been a
music.
heartbroken woman?
Huh?
Have you been a heartbroken woman?
Let me think. Maybe in a past life, but not this one.
It is the epitome of like breakup girl songs. I don't know that you would necessarily like. She's a great singer too. If you're someone that's like, I
So
like it
yeah,
because her voice is good. Like
let me hear this. So
she's a
here.
singer.
I can understand that her voice is good. I get that she hits all the notes. I don't think it's like that pleasing to listen to for me personally. I get that. I can tell. I'm like, wow, she has a great voice. She can hit all the notes. She can go really high. She can do all her vibrato, whatever the hell she's doing with those words. But it's not pleasing to my ears. And it's always that about like a heartbroken woman. And maybe it's because I've broken so many hearts that I don't want to hear it. But I'm just saying, yeah. So to me, it's not pleasing to my ear, and I don't like the song. Like it's just like it's all slow and whatever. I like slow songs too. So I don't know what it is about her. I don't like her music.
The song "There's a Feeling"?
Oh, can't stand that. I hate that song. Is that her?
Rolling in the deep.
Yeah, is that her song too?
Yeah,
oh,
and I
yeah,
think that's
see,
her
more
most.
reasons. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. Why? I don't know what it is.
I love Adele, but I'm also not going to push her. I hear you. I understand. I think some people, like some filmmakers, are filmmakers, where it's like if you're into film and you're like, that shot was rad, then you might like it, but it's not
Right.
necessarily a fun movie for the rest of the world to watch, where I'm
Yeah.
like, I get how cinematic it is.
You want to hear one more thing I can't get into about music?
Sure.
So like Stacey and I agree on almost everything. Like we hit on so much stuff. But there's one thing that she loves, and like everyone loves. My brother, even my brother who's not into musicals, loves this damn thing. What's
I
that?
bet it's Hamilton.
Bam.
Hamilton.
I tried to sit down and watch this thing, and maybe I got to see it in person, whatever. But usually, I did musicals all through high school and college. I'm obsessed with musicals, and I can't get into friggin' Hamilton.
Super secret confession.
Yeah. Oh wow. Wow. And this is such a minority. This is such a small segment of the human population too.
I am taking on that this is a me problem, not a it problem. I think I didn't see it under the right circumstance. I'm sure if you listen to the music more, you'd love, because I know people that are like, I know every word.
Here's that too. I think I need to keep, but I've also listened to, like Stacey and I, we drove to Vegas and we listened to a whole soundtrack again. After I've watched the live thing where I got to this part where the dude's spitting up his own spit, the priest dude, who I like in other stuff. I like him in Glee. I think he's in Glee and stuff like that. But and then listen to the whole soundtrack and I'm like, okay, I can see why this is good. I get it. It's doing a bunch of cool stuff. It's definitely it takes a talent to create this and to sing this.
Right. Like you're not saying it's not good. You're just saying it's not for you.
It's not, I can't get into it. I don't go home singing. They don't get stuck in my head.
We're going to lose all our Patreons with
this. Good. Well, no, not good on that. First of all, this is not Patreon though.
I watched it with a 3-year-old. So like a 3-year-old running around who loved it, which is fine. And me and the mom and like drinking coffee and doing things. So I feel like I will take that I didn't give it like the real all that it deserves. So on my end, I'm going to say that. You, on the other hand, did listen. I feel like always a soundtrack in the car. So that's about as invested as you can get.
Like, so listen to this time. A third time I had to listen to the whole soundtrack is I'm going to propose to Stacey, and it's my brother and his fiance and my sister, and at the time her fiance, now her husband, and me and Stacey. There's 6 of us in a car.
All the Lindgrens got married in a very short, like in a 5-year
Right.
point of
We're
time.
all getting married within like 2 years, right?
Okay,
So
wow.
it's interesting how it all came together. But we're all driving to the proposed proposal spot, and everyone knows except Stacy, and they're like, and Stacy says no. So my brother's like, hey Stacy, what do you want to listen to? Like, just to be like, not because they know it's her proposal, but they don't want to tell her it is, but they want her to enjoy her ride to the proposal.
Sure.
And she's like, oh, Hamilton. And Jeff's like, oh my God, I love Hamilton. So going to the proposal, I'm listening to friggin' Hamilton. Everyone's loving it. Oh, actually, I think Kyle, Christina's husband, was also like kind of like not into it. So I was like, okay, thank God I have somebody that's not into Hamilton here. But
Did you did the ring accidentally fall from your grip during the drive? Like, it
I'll
fell
tell you this
out.
about that though. My brother and I were in the front seat, all other four were in the back seat. And Jeff, I kept checking my pocket to make sure it was still there because I was so friggin' nervous. And Jeff kept noticing it. And after I proposed, he's like, dude, I thought you were going to give it away the amount of times you kept patting your pocket.
That is really funny. And listen, for you patrons, Miguel, you especially, I am going to, this I swear, I am going to listen to Hamilton in the car on my drive to Montclair tomorrow.
Okay.
And really give it the old college try and see if I can get into it, because I believe it is good and I will take the blame that it is me. Finally, before we wrap this up, since we don't have a lot of drama about, I have been with my high school friends. I'm many a year since high school, but I'm in New Jersey and we've been all getting together.
You're visiting, yeah.
We're visiting, but like everybody, like we've been having like a big like our whole gang of friends. It's been wonderful. And a friend of mine, a dear friend, was like, oh, Pam and Dana's my best friend. He was like, you guys, like later on in life, like in college, I got so into this band that I'm sure you guys love. Do you love Radiohead? And that is my other secret. I was like, that's how I feel about Hamilton. I'm like, I take the L on this. Like, I'm not saying they're not the best and they're not amazing. And I get it. And everyone I love and respect, from my LA friends to home friends to my sister, who's not a music person, love Radiohead. Like it's my favorite. And I'm like, really? Just his voice, like it hits me like it hits me.
I'll say this. We certainly gave people a lot to talk about in this comment section today. They're going to eat us alive, and I'm going to love every minute of it. So go ahead, go crazy.
If you like the challenge after show for coverage of Radiohead, Hamilton, cringe jokes, verse,
and Adele,
adorable jokes, and Angela.
Hey, so one more thing about the actual episode: Alyssa's glove gets caught on the underneath the weight of the ball, and when she falls, the glove stays there. Did you see that part?
Did it look like her hand stayed there?
No, her hand went down fine. There's a little glove standing there. And she's like, now she doesn't have a glove on her hand. She's got to, finish the. No. But it was right at the end. It was right at the end. I just thought it was really funny.
Sometimes those gloves get in the way.
I'm glad they had the gloves, though. They are ripping up those chains. You don't want to have bare hands on a chain. Well, for damn sure.
We're at about 43 minutes. So if you want more like of me, Dan, and Jenna getting into stuff, head on over to our Patreon.
Head to the Patreon. Hey, what do you think the twist is, real quick, before we go? Do you think it's
I think it'll go individual. I think
it's in it. I mean, what else could it possibly be? And if you think there's something else that there is to this, tell us in the comments. But like, it doesn't seem like that big of a twist to me. It seems pretty damn obvious that they're going singles at this point with the remaining 14. Huh?
Teams might be possible, or groups of 3, but
if there's 14, how do you split that into groups of 3?
Well, after an elimination,
you could do teams of
12, and you have 3 groups of 4.
But they would announce it right now because they're not going to another group of 2.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's singles.
No.
I don't care. Yeah, I hear you. But honestly, this episode brought me back into it. But that's just because I'm such a huge Alyssa and Leo fan. But also, tell us in the comments below, who the hell are you rooting for in this season?
Who are you rooting for, Dan? Like
Alyssa and Leo. I already said it 5 times. You
really? God, I can't stand Alyssa. So everyone I've been
Who are you rooting for, Pamela? And then also, as a YouTubers, who the hell are you rooting for?
So I guess I'm gonna say the only people that I have any stake in, like my favorite is Danny, but like, am I rooting for him? I don't really have.
That's my point right there. Like, I think Tyson is a badass. I think he plays this game really well. I think he's good at a lot of shit. But am I rooting for Tyson? I can't say that I am.
I like Ben. I like
Ben.
Ben,
Ben is
but
just
no,
there to
but
me.
well, I think the honest truth, gosh, I'm even surprising myself today, y'all. I'm rooting for Angela and Tyson.
Wow.
I
It's
think they are the best. So, like, if I want someone to represent
okay.
America
Okay. Oh, this is
internationally, it's
interesting.
probably Angela and
How about
Tyson.
this one? I'm rooting for Desi, but she ain't done shit this whole season. But for some reason, I'm rooting for her, and I don't know why.
I'm rooting for Desi and Taylor Hale to have a talk show.
Yeah.
How about that?
Is
Like,
that Taylor? I don't even
imagine
know Taylor's last name from Big Brother. What is it?
Taylor
Hale?
Hale.
Cool. I had no
Um,
idea.
it's cool last name. I mean, she, again, we've talked about this before on her, but if she is not primed for fame, she's already
Yeah.
verified on Twitter.
So, by the way, if
She's
you,
going to be, I think, the most famous Big Brother
she
contestant
has
ever,
to be.
other than
So,
Janelle, to
if
come
you're
out of
not
it.
watching our Big Brother 24 on Patreon, go and do that. Pamela, Jenna, and I are ever, and we never agree on anything. Our entire number one is all Taylor. We all are rooting for the same damn person to win this whole game, and it has not changed this whole season. Oh, you're into
I've,
someone. Oh,
I've
Michael?
sort of changed my tune because of, you know what, again, join our
No, yeah.
Patreon and
Go
hear
watch our
all this
Big
and
Brother if
more.
you want
Yeah,
to know how she
we're not
changed her
spoiling it.
tune.
And her recent, she didn't do a good job on her head of household, I will
I
say.
am
I
still
did
far
not
and
like her head of
away
household.
the
There's a
biggest
lot of
Taylor fan ever. I
I still
cannot get
love her.
enough of
I
her.
still love, I haven't turned on her, but in
I know
terms
you
of
haven't.
the best game and winning, I no longer think she has it.
And Jenna's not here, but I think she's still rooting for Enzo, possibly. She loves Enzo, even though I think I was giving Enzo
Enzo
so much.
for Big Brother, even if he's not on it.
I was giving Enzo so much shit last week, Pam, because he did not come to play. You don't come on the show if you cannot swing on a rope. I'm sorry, but get the hell off my show.
Then he did well
My
in the
show.
final, right? My
Huh?
show. It's not your show, TJ. It's
I know.
Dylan's
And
show.
then he won. Then he obviously won the elimination. But he
Um,
had a great strategic move. I gave him props where it was due. But anyway,
Shout out to TJ's pyrotechnician at the end of the heat.
oh
They
my
blew up
god,
a car, and
again,
everyone was
like
like,
I'm not even sure it was as big as they made it look. I feel like they superimposed some flames, and then
oh, a
everyone goes,
million percent. A
everyone goes,
million percent.
oh,
I think they said
oh,
everybody's shock reaction.
yeah.
I was like, that's CGI. They
Yeah,
made everybody
producer's like, hey, everyone, can you guys all freak out? There's a lot of flames right now. Freak out, please, freak out. Oh,
shock.
oh. So dumb. All right. Well, thank
Agreed.
you all so much for joining us
Thank
for
you
episode
guys.
7, State of the Unions. God, I can't
Our,
stand the titles.
our Patreon is in this link
Yeah,
on our
I'm putting it down there
YouTube.
for sure. Our Patreon's blowing up. We're getting so much great feedback from it, and obviously here on YouTube, we're getting some great feedback too.
Yeah,
If
we
you want to
love
give
it.
us a super thanks, I added the super thanks button. You just have to scroll over from the like
Ooh.
button. There's a super thanks. You can donate a whopping $1 or something. I don't know how it
And
works.
the other thing I will request is from our because we are not super social media people, me and Dan, and that's the way people spread the word. So if you guys share this, we would be eternally grateful with
Yeah.
people.
You can see a picture of. I actually just put a picture up of the bachelor party. I hosted a bachelor party for my brother last weekend. 24
And
dudes, 24 dudes in a house. You tell me how that went. So
hot.
just hot. Yeah. Bunch of hot 30
White hot.
somethings.
Hotter than
And
TJ's car explosion. Boom.
the end episode. Right. All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Right. Bye, guys.